If you can do these three things, it's game over for them. Listen, I'm not talking about a little bit of nastiness and harshness here and there. I'm not talking about being strict. I am talking about cruelty and contempt. Now, contempt is something that you can see. It's a micro expression. Okay? If your mother looks at you with contempt, there is no hope in hell you're going to fix that relationship. So best to kill that hope and give it to yourself instead. Now here I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to overcome this challenge. Number 1, first we have to understand what this person is all about. If your mother looks at you with contempt, that everything you say and do, everything you stand for, all your achievements, even though you tried so hard to achieve them for her in the effort to gain her love and approval, if all of that is wrong, is seen as wrong in her eyes, then it's not about what you do or say or achieve. In her eyes, you are wrong at the core. But here's the truth. You are the opposite of everything that she says is wrong about you. You're the opposite of dumb and stupid. You're the opposite of selfish. You're the opposite of whatever she says you are. Okay? And that is why the more you try to improve yourself for her, the deeper you dig yourself into the rabbit hole. Now I'm just gonna touch on the covert and insidious type. Okay, these are the most dangerous and damaging type, because you know why? It's not enough to withhold love from you. The covert and insidious type wants to deprive you of the love of others, and this is why they do it so insidiously, because nobody sees it. And if you try to tell anyone, if you do see through them in the first place, when you try to get help from someone, no one's going to believe you, because it was all done insidiously. It was done in private, where there are no witnesses, you see. So that is why people will think that you're making it up, or you're crazy, or you're just super, super sensitive. And there's nothing wrong with anything. And that you're the one who's making it up, because nobody else sees it. And because of that, because of this insidiousness, you can't get support from anyone who could genuinely care for you, who could genuinely love you. But they've already been manipulated into thinking that you're the troublemaker. There's something wrong with you. There's something mentally unstable and mentally off about you. And this would have been done when you were a very, very small child. So the insidiousness of this means that they don't even have to obviously tell someone that you're a mad child, you're a mad person. It's over the years, tiny little seeds that they plant into others that cloud their mind, cloud their judgment of you. And eventually, when you have an outburst, everyone's going to say, see, it's true. All along it's true. You're the problem. You're the problem child. So this is the trap that we often get into if we're not aware. But luckily for me, and I hope this has happened to you as well, luckily there were a few divine interventions. Now I say divine interventions because there were very, very short windows of time where I interacted with a genuinely kind person. I'll give you an example. I have never had a relationship with my paternal grandfather, and that's because the entire family on that side was bad-mouthed, and I grew up believing that they were either evil or they were just losers, you know. And that's why I kept my distance from them. Even from a very small child, I kept my distance from them because I was suspicious of them. I thought they were weird. I thought they were really terrible people. So I never had a relationship with any of them. But this divine intervention, this very, very small window of time, put me and my grandfather in a private space where there was no one around, and he was teaching me how to water the plants. Till this day, I water the plants in the way that he taught me. Now, this was something that happened a very, very long time ago when I was about 5 or 6. And I forgot that incident for decades, I forgot that incident until one day, the memory just came to visit me. One of many other memories. Now, it's not about watering the plants. It's not about the action or the teaching. It was because it was done with love. One day, when I was at the lowest point, this memory came to visit me. It just knocked on my door. And I think because I was open to it, I had nowhere to go. I had no answers. I was just begging and pleading for an answer. And, when we do that, when we really surrender, these little divine interventions do come back to us. There are lots more. I used to travel a lot. I didn't know why I traveled. I thought I just liked the thrill of it. But actually, the whole time I was traveling is because I was searching for decent human connections. And I did meet so many genuinely kind people who, when I look back, there is so much kindness in this world. And this is why I carry these tiny little moments with me, these small acts of kindness, because they retain my humanity. They prevent me from looking at the world with such a negative, from such a negative perspective. I was groomed, I was trained to look at the world as though it was an evil place, that everyone was out to get me, that everyone hates me, And I spent most of my life thinking that, and because of that, it snowballed, attracting, for want of a better word, bad situations for me. So these little memories that came back to me just put everything into perspective. And slowly I began to see that there is a lot of kindness in this world, that I saw it in a really wonky way. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not just about blindly thinking positively. It's about trying to remember these little moments and truly appreciating them, because then they will grow. They start to grow, these feelings, this love from strangers start to grow, and they start to become a part of you. Point number 2, the sooner you accept that your mother doesn't love you, the better. Now, this sounds harsh, I know, but to be honest, if it's a fact, and it's best to just accept it. Then you can move forward. For as long as you don't accept it, you're going to continue trying to fix things. You're going to continue making efforts in the wrong places with the wrong people. So accept it, but accept it without judgment. Accept it without blame, because that will also hold you back. And please do not listen to all those people who say, no, of course not. Of course she loves you. All mothers love their children. No, that is not true. Okay? Society's idea of what a family is, that all families are happy, that all mothers love their children, is just so wrong. And it is the biggest enemy to your healing. Okay? Do not delude yourself into thinking that. Now, I am one of the greatest advocates of feeling sorry for yourself. I've said this a million times, and I need to say it again. You need to feel sorry for yourself. You need to feel sad. You need to feel anger. You need to grieve the loss of what you never had. Okay? But the important thing is you need to give yourself a timeline. Now, no one can say, oh, do it only for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 3 months. No one can tell you that. But you have to come up with your own timeline. When is enough of feeling sorry for yourself, or feeling angry, or feeling sad? When is it enough? So you can properly process it, accept it, and move on. So do not listen to these people, because they're probably in denial over their own crap. They just don't want to bring it up. Therefore, they don't want to listen to you. And they probably don't even care about your pain. They don't understand your journey. They don't understand what you are going through. They just want to shut you up because they want to remain comfortable. And you're triggering them. So for our own sakes, try Try to arrive at a balance where we're not judging them, we're not blaming them, and neither are we making excuses for them. Neither are we feeling sorry for them for their past that made them so cruel. Are you cruel? No. Why? Because you chose not to be cruel. You know, there's so many resources out there that we can, as adults, we have the choice to be cruel, to relive our past and to pass it on to the next generation, or to lash out on other people, or to heal ourselves and to decide not to be cruel. This thing always comes up when I do that. So there is no excuse. There's plenty of resources out there. We all have a choice whether to heal or to be cruel to other people. And it's time to accept that she chose to be cruel. Point number 3, be focused on the now. Be very, very present. What's your objective in life? Isn't it to lead a fulfilling and happy life? And that's where you need to focus on. You know, I'm not talking about deluding yourself. I'm talking about focus on what makes you happy. You know, incidentally, yesterday, a friend of mine sent me a text message and it triggered the hell out of me. It was so triggering that I was incapacitated for the whole day. And why? Because the moment I woke up, I was already, I was in a terrible mood. I was so angry and sad. I don't know why. It was just one of those things where you wake up with a certain mood. And then, not long after I woke up, I got this message from her. And it was like adding insult to injury. She sent me a poem. And, well, the moral of the story of this poem is that, some animal died. And the moral of the story was that life is precious. And we should spend our time with the people that we love because life is short. And that triggered me because of my frame of mind when I got that message. I started thinking about my parents and I started feeling so bad and so guilty. I was so triggered, I wanted to just delete it there and then. But then I thought, no, triggers are very useful. Why am I so triggered? I was consumed with this anger and sadness and resentment for the most part of the day until my dog looked at me with those large brown eyes. And I saw something in them and it awakened something in me. And at that point, I knew what that message meant. So life is precious. Focus on the people who love you, who care for you, whether it's your friends, your children, or your pets, because they deserve you. Focus on those who appreciate you, who want to spend time with you, and who want a healthy relationship with you. So that's the moral of the story. And that focus can be the difference between falling and falling and falling and rising. You see, when people love you, they will do their part in the relationship. You don't have to be the only one trying to fix things, trying to make things better. When people love you, they will put in the effort. When you're surrounded by people who love you, life becomes easy. It won't feel like you're climbing uphill knee-deep in mud or swimming in treacle. I'm sure you know what I mean. But you have to be brave enough to be willing to lose people, even if you lose everyone. If that's what it takes. Stop pandering to them and they'll vanish. They'll vanish in an instant. When they're not allowed to abuse you, they'll just disappear. Yes, of course, it's going to feel very lonely at the beginning. This journey is hard, but it will eventually lead you to the people who truly love you, the people who appreciate you, the people who deserve you and whom you deserve. People who are willing to take this journey with you. And life becomes easy. So if you can do these 3 things, it's game over for them. Sending you lots of love.